Howdy YouTube, this is Steven and I'm back with another photo analysis. This time, I'll be analyzing the cover of Utada Hikaru's album, This Is the One. Well, technically this is Utada's album, This Is the One, but nevertheless, we all know they're the same person. Um, so, let's begin this photo analysis now. Here we go. Alright, so when you first look at the album cover, it's obvious that this is a beauty shot. It's a close-up of Utada Hikaru's face. And I think that Utada has a nice face. However, I think that is a bit plain and the coloration doesn't help with that. Because for me personally, this is my personal opinion, so Utaders, don't attack me. But sometimes I feel like the way that Utada looks, she just looks a little plain. And I remember hearing on a radio interview that they were on the subject of Utada Hikaru's success in Japan and how people react to her when they see her walking down the street. And she told them that, a lot of times people don't really recognize her. She just puts on a hat or something and walks down the street and people don't recognize her. And I was like, yeah, I can see why. I can understand that happening. And by the way, this was an interview for, an American radio station, by the way. All right, but back to the subject at hand, which is Utada Hikaru's album cover for This Is the One. Alright, the coloration doesn't work for me. It's all gray and drab. It's like we got gray. She's like wearing a hoodie for a beauty shot. And it's like it kind of doesn't have much life to it. If Utada had like a strong facial expression, this could have worked better. But this doesn't really work for me. I think this is a very weak album cover, and this probably wouldn't really grab someone's attention that much if you're looking for it. Are you browsing around in a CD section somewhere? This wouldn't really grab your attention. And by the way, those CD sections still exist. Not as much as they used to, but you can still find some CD sections, at Walmart or Target and some other stores too. The expression in her eyes is a bit just neither here nor there. Pretty much her whole facial expression is not quite here, not quite there. I'm not sure what she's trying to portray with this facial expression. The title for this album is This Is the One. Well, this is not the one album cover that she should have went with. As well, I don't really see that theme, This Is the One, played up. If she had had a stronger facial expression, then it would have worked. I would have been like, okay, she's saying that, this album is the one, or she is the one, or something where I can, make a connection with the album title and the album cover. However, you don't always have to follow the theme of the title. You don't have to follow the theme or the title, as long as you just deliver a good photo. Sometimes you can get away with that. But in this situation, Utada should not have avoided or forgotten the title and the theme of the album. And it's a bit odd that she's wearing a hoodie for a beauty shot. I don't know. I don't really understand where the hoodie comes in. I'm guessing that Utada is I'm not extremely familiar with Utada Hikaru, but she kind of strikes me as the type who's not really into the whole vanity thing, which I do appreciate to an extent, because sometimes it can just be a bit too much when it comes to vanity and the entertainment industry, as well as especially vanity, the entertainment industry, and women. So I can understand her wanting to distance herself from the extreme vanity. However, you are presenting yourself to a different music market who's not quite familiar with you, so you might put your best foot forward. I'm not saying you have to totally change up who you are, but just maybe put in some hair extensions or put on some makeup, lipstick, kind of just enhance your beauty a little bit more. But for me, this is very mediocre. You know, Utada Hikaru, she's not an ugly woman. She's actually, you know, uh, she's a pretty woman. But I just feel like sometimes, in a situation like this with a photo and an album cover, you do have to kind of play it up when it comes to your looks. I mean, I know this is the music industry and it should be about the music, but Utada, you've been in the music industry long enough to know that, you know, image is important. But let's see if I can find something positive to say about this album cover. Ooh, this is gonna be a tough one. Let's see. I'd say her skin looks nice. She has nice skin, and oddly, she has some neck in this photo. You would kind of expect her neck to be cut off, you know, to be not visible and to look like it doesn't exist. But you can see some neck in the photo, so all right, kudos to you for working your neck, despite working your neck in spite of what she's wearing, so that it didn't look like, okay, the hoodie is wearing her versus she's wearing the hoodie, if that makes sense to you guys. And I heard that the album This Is the One, it's a bit, from what I've heard, it's supposed to be a bit experimental, like the previous English language album she released, Exodus. So does this album cover really reflect that theme of experimental? This doesn't really say experimental to me. This says, like, kind of lazy. Like, I could have given you this photo, Utada Hikaru. I mean, hey, just pay me like $10 and give me a copy of your CD, and I could have given you this photo right here. So I hope you didn't pay too much for, your crew or whoever who works on, the album covers and things like that. Hopefully you didn't pay them a whole lot of money for this photo, because I don't think this doesn't really deserve a lot of money. Like, hey, next time you need an album cover, just call me. Hey, you can just give me like 10 American dollars and a copy of your latest CD coming out, and I'll do this, give you something probably better than this, or at least this quality. If this is what you're gonna settle for, I can give you this. But ultimately, to sum it up, for me, I just feel like Utada San, she didn't work it. This is a beauty shot. It's all about the face. Had she delivered on the facial expression, this photo would have worked. Even though it looks drab, she's wearing a hoodie, her hairstyle is a bit plain, even all that, despite all that, if she had just delivered a strong facial expression, this photo would have worked. So, unfortunately for me, this photo doesn't really work for me. But hey, what do you guys think? Do you like the album cover? Feel free to comment. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to give me a thumbs up. Your feedback and your support is extremely appreciated. Until the next photo analysis, adios and goodbye for now. Oh yeah, one more thing I want to mention. I guess it does kind of look like Utada Hikaru glossed her lips a little bit. So for her, that's a step forward in the right direction. So, all right, kudos to you, Utada. But that's all I gotta say. Adios and goodbye for now.